Welcome to this edition of Morgan Asked For podcast. Solo today. We're going to be real quick, getting ready to leave on vacation, heading to the Lake of the Ozarks as we talked last week. Trev is already on the way, so we are going down. I'm actually going in the morning, but it's got things going on this afternoon, and so just a real quick one here. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Steve Shetler for putting us on Thursday nights at 7. We do appreciate it. We really like doing this. It's super fun and lots of comments and everything else like that. It's kind of a nice just time to vent and talk. And Trev and I, we don't see each other enough. Just a chance for us to keep up and then able to just put it out there for everybody to listen. And then it's just fun. And we're not making money at this. We're not doing anything else like that. And that is perfectly fine. We just enjoy it. And we appreciate each and every one of you that do listen. Not a lot of topics here. We are in the summertime, a little bit doldrums of the regular season baseball, but NHL playoffs, NBA finals are in their finals. Stanley Cup finals started last night. Carolina Hurricanes, Vegas Knights score with about a little over 3 minutes left and hold on to win game one in Carolina. So definitely series advantage to the Knights. Tonight, the Knicks play the Spurs. With the Spurs, getting back to the Spurs from a few days ago, upset Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City, game 7, defending champs. Wemby is a problem. We've talked about that. He's just different. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he can shoot. He just is a matchup problem for almost everybody, well, really everybody in the NBA. You just got to hope to contain him. Do the Knicks have enough? They might. They've been playing great. They've been sweeping series. And that's going to be the difference. Spurs, 7-game struggle, have to lay it all on the line. Knicks, 4-game sweep, been sitting for a week. We'll see who is ready to go here in game 1. That doesn't mean you can't transition back to winning the series either way, but we'll see tonight who's ready to play their first game here. I am going to predict the Spurs win in 6. So I do think it'll be a good series. I'm going to pick the Spurs, and the Spurs might be in the running for quite a few years, much like they were in the early 2000s with Robinson and Duncan. All right, now next we are going to go to Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA. This is a season that we talk about her. They're not playing great. She's not playing great. There is some tension / what is the relationship with Coach White and her on the bench? She got benched during a timeout. Her facial expressions. That's Caitlyn Clark. She's been that way for a long, long time. They both came out and talked in a press conference situation. No big deal. They're both competitive. They both want to win. They have a great relationship. And sometimes some of the best relationships are ones that you can, express your frustration in front of, show your, emotions, not ones that you hide from or keep it in. They have a relationship where they can show each other how they feel. And then, in a regular situation, probably not and maybe they do, I don't know, go out and have a beer and disagree. And then you go back to work tomorrow and it's like nothing happened. And then you go, be successful going forward. You can disagree and you can have disagreements, and that's perfectly fine. It's probably healthy instead of always just being a yes man or woman and just going about your business, not trying to, ripple any water or ruffle any feathers or anything. But just we love the story, the potential, and I think Caitlyn Clark actually talked about it. It's a story because when people click on it, they make money. Caitlyn Clark and Coach White in a disagreement, or however they worded it, people are paid actually a lot of money just to make headlines. So And there's a lot of research done to get the correct headline so they get the most clicks. It's one thing I'm not very good at on this podcast, actually, but creative is not my number one thing here. But they make those, and then you click on it, and obviously on the internet, you get paid by number of clicks and advertising and stuff like that. So that is what potentially makes this story even bigger than it was 10 or 15 years ago when the WNBA was not followed as much. There weren't cameras everywhere like they are now because of Caitlyn Clark and the new TV deal and, the amount of raised WNBA focus on networks and everything else. It's on NBC, it's on ABC, it's on ESPN. It's not just one or two times a week or a month or whatever. You can watch her almost every game, probably every game. It's on, it's on Netflix or Prime or whatever it might be. Lots of eyeballs on it. So this stuff has always happened. It's just becoming more focused on her and the WNBA because no one's ever seen it before. And that's not anybody's fault. It's just the way it is. And then, the next thing here is the baseball. We are now at the Super Regionals. I believe some of them start tomorrow, and then a few more start on Friday. If you don't watch college baseball, and I don't watch it, I follow the Hawkeyes just a little bit. Iowa State doesn't have it. I know the Iowa coach a little bit. He's from Southeast Iowa here. But watching the NCAA tournament, the regionals last weekend, number 1 and number 2 both go down. We have some super potential Cinderellas. Troy or Cal Poly, I think, are the two that one of them two are going to the World Series because they're playing each other. Little Rock, I think, maybe it's Little Rock and Troy that are playing each other, and Cal Poly plays West Virginia. I can't remember. It's Cal Poly, Little Rock, and Troy are quote unquote the Cinderellas left. St. John's Northern team is in. I think they're the only Northern team left. Kansas, West Virginia are in. USC and Oregon from the Big Ten. Got to think twice about that. Are in, and then there are a whole bunch of SEC teams, which is fine. That's where baseball is big. That's where baseball makes money. That's why Iowa State doesn't have baseball because, when the Big 8/Big 12 was going, you could not compete with Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, and whatever. So they dropped it. Well, I think it's been 25 years. It was when I was going to school here at Iowa State. So, but it is fun to watch. If you like baseball and you like a little bit more fundamental baseball than just home run hitting, stuff like that, tune in this weekend. It's on the ESPN family of networks. All of them are fun games. I think it's, best out of 3 series, so it's not one and done. Fun to watch there. Then last but definitely not least here, the softball College World Series is reached their final series. Rematch of Texas Tech versus Texas. Both teams had to win 2 games on Monday. I think it was Monday night. But Texas had to beat Tennessee twice, and then Texas Tech had to beat Alabama twice. They both did it. Very emotional / both teams winning 2 games is crazy, but that's softball. It's the way it is. Rematch of last year's championship where Texas did win the national championship. The irony of that story is right now they're in a argument, war, whatever you want to talk about. Their football. Texas coach Steve Sarkisian said that they could go win the Big 12 with their 2s and 3s and go undefeated and get to the playoff. Well, Texas Tech said, all right, we'll buy our game and we'll play a week 1. Well, Texas was like, well, we can't buy out our game. Well, and then Texas Tech came back and said, we'll buy out both games. We'll have it at our place. I'll even talk to Jerry. Maybe we'll have it at Jerry World. We'll make it work. And obviously it's not going to happen. It's just, kind of almost like just a piss and match who is going to have the last laugh here. So a little bit of that is irony. Now they're playing a national championship in a different sport. And then, Texas Tech is in the conversation now with Sorsby as well, and how much money and how many times he's actually gambled. He's moved to Texas, but now it's shown that he's transferred like $60,000 to his friends to make bets, and I really do think he has a problem. Now he has the money to do it, but hopefully he does get the help. But I don't see any way where he can continue to play college football. He needs to go in the supplemental draft, which I think the deadline is in a week or two, if you want to enter that, or just wait it out, get drafted next year, and go the regular route and just work out essentially this year. I almost feel sorry for Texas Tech a little bit, because I'm sure they probably knew some of this, but they had no idea what this all did. And then they come out and defend him. And the NCAA, I think, was just waiting for him to come out and defend him. And they came with receipts and had the number of bets, the amount of money that's been bet. He's transferred money to friends to bet on his behalf. I understand there's judges in Texas that want to see him eligible to play, want to see, what he is doing in the legal term is not illegal, but it is illegal for an NCAA player to bet on his own team, to bet. He has essentially has insider information. I think one of the bets he made was an underpassing when he was at Indiana. He was not playing, but he might have known that Indiana quarterback had a hurt shoulder, or the game plan it didn't look good, or whatever it might have been. But he's got information that if I wanted to make that same bet, I don't have. Just like when I was at Iowa State involved with the football team, I had information that I knew that other people didn't, is what it is. That's just the part of being a part of the program, is things that others don't, and you just can't. And that's why it's a very slippery slope letting college athletes bet at all, but essentially betting on college. Because yes, he might be the quarterback at Indiana, but he went to high school with the running back at Auburn. So he makes a bet on Auburn versus Alabama. His buddy told him that Auburn running back's not going to play, and it isn't public knowledge yet. Just an example. No idea if that happened, but it's just, and I guess, and even, NFL football, maybe a guy he was a teammate with 3 years ago is at Denver, and he knows somebody's not playing or whatever. There's just a slippery slope. And I hope somehow they get it figured out where you can bet, you can't bet. And it's just a black and white line. But as we all know, too many people just want to always find the gray, live in the gray, push the envelope, break the rules, break the laws. And that's just life. That's humans. We're all flawed. We all do it. But I do hope he does not play college football again, but yet gets the help that he needs. And I do wish Texas Tech and Texas could figure out how to play football the first weekend of the season, but I know it won't happen. It'd be really, really fun to watch. Ultimately, it doesn't even matter who won the game. It does, but if they actually pulled it off, it would be just an amazing story in itself, and they should almost work at it just because of that. Get the press and all the notoriety just for putting it together, and both of them stand behind their word. Hopefully everybody's having a good beginning of the summer. We have flipped the calendar to June. I don't know what everybody else's calendar looks like, but my June calendar has something almost every day between kids and my own activities and stuff like that. And like we talked about last week, Trev and I and a few of our friends are headed to Lake of the Ozarks and playing golf Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So nice, short, little quick vacation, playing a little golf. Hopefully everybody gets to do that a little bit this year. Last but definitely not least, you do want to touch on Another just super sad situation here in Iowa, Muscatine. Family members, students, teachers, coaches, recent college graduates, all of the above affected by a domestic dispute. Details still coming out. Not going to comment on those. Is what it is. All I know is this happens too much. It's getting pretty close to home, and we need help. Just in general, everybody. And just, go talk to people. Whatever you need to do, communicate however you feel you need to. Get help. Try to do your best. Be nice to people. Do everything else like that. It's too much of this is happening in our society, world, and we need to be better. We all need to be better. So we'll be back next week, more regular after we get back from the Ozarks. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to everybody next week.